Good morning, students.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Doctor.
Good morning, doctor.
Okay, thank you. Um, Before dealing with our lecture today, I want just to notify some points.
Yes,
You know, this week will be the final for the
yes,
course,
yeah,
Yes,
and you have to know that today's lecture will cover the material that is included in the final examination. So today
yeah,
we are
Allah.
going to finish with the book, and then we are going to move to the oral exam. You know, we are not covering all students, and by the way, all
Yeah,
students should participate. So we are going to have additional lectures, and this is very important because we don't have
yes,
time.
Doctor. Yes,
We need all students to participate because this is a definite mark, and that's why I'm going to divide you into groups for those who are not participating for the coming days. What does it mean? It means that it should be notified that all students will participate into groups. These groups will be displayed or will be announced in the Google Classroom, and
yeah,
the names will be
yes,
mentioned. I'm going to, arrange the names alphabetically, alphabetically. So
yes, doctor.
Doctor.
Yes,
students will
doctor.
be in a queue. This is one. Second, this lecture will be will be used for even volunteer participation. So
Yes, yes,
it will be only 2 hours. Okay, once we are going to finish with the book, we are going to move to the volunteer participation for those who are going to raise hands. And of course, those who are going to participate just now, so they are not going to be in the groups that I'm going to have because they are going to be already participating. So
yes,
that's why I'm going to have additional lectures today in the evening, at 3 p.m. Tomorrow also, on Friday, okay, the same time in the evening, that is 3 p.m. On Saturday, okay. So I believe that with this, I'm going to have free time, maybe 3 hours, more than 3 hours, to cover the group, each group of about 30 or more than 30, because you know your number totally is 165.
yes, Doctor. Yes.
And so far we finished with only 22 students. So we need just to speed up because the average will be arranged next week once I finish with the oral exam. And by the way, the head of department is insisting that the average should be finished at the beginning of next week. So what does it mean? Those who are, to be mentioned, in the groups, they should exist, they should attend, and this is something obligatory for them, by the way, because they have a definite mark for the oral exam. Okay.
Yes,
So,
Doctor.
Yes,
we already finished with the monthly exam, and of course you know that the division of the average is related to the monthly exam, the attendance, okay, regular attendance, oral exam, and we have the assignment, and this is what I want just to emphasize. You
Yes,
know, so far we did 3 assignments.
yes, Doctor. Yes.
We don't have reports, by the way. So
Yes.
the assignments will be considered as just like a report, but there is a division of the mark. What does it mean? We have 3 assignments. 3 marks for the first assignment, 3 marks for the second assignment, 4 marks for the third assignment, which is related to the what? To the oral exam, you know. So totally it will be 10. What does this mean? It means that those who didn't participate in one assignment, they lose the definite mark for the assignment.
Yes.
If you are not doing the first assignment, you lose what? 3 marks.
3 marks.
You didn't do the
Doctor.
second assignment, you lose 3 marks.
So, Doctor,
Yeah.
the last assignment,
Yeah.
it's of the oral
It
exam.
is both, by
So
the way.
what-
It is an assignment and it is an oral exam. What does it mean? It means that for those who did the assignment will have 4 marks, but this is not enough. They should participate in oral exam to have the 10 marks for the oral exam.
Yes, yes, it's
Yes,
clear.
yes, Doctor.
Now,
yes.
so it has two functions.
Yes. Yes,
Is that
Doctor.
clear for you all, by the way?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, Dr.
I,
Thank you.
I need students just to think the average this way, okay? Because I wouldn't like to be, blamed for the marks. You see now, some students didn't attend from the first course till the last lecture. I specified 1 mark for each lecture. So what does it mean? For those who didn't attend the lecture totally, they lost 10 marks for the present.
Yes, yes,
You know?
Doctor.
And by the way, when we are saying about the assignment should be in time. What does it mean? Do not tell me that I'm going to send the first assignment now. It's over. It's over.
Yes, there is
Now,
a time for
if you
Yes,
check
yes.
with me,
the time
yeah,
is over.
if you check with me now, those who didn't, you see now, those who are
Yes.
not doing the assignment for the oral exam are still 48.
Yes.
48. What does it mean? 48.
Yes.
It means that
Lose
they
the
are
4 marks of
going
the
to lose 4 marks.
yes.
Okay, they are going to lose 4 marks. So we have 48 students, and those, by the way, those are clear for me because their names are found
Yes,
here.
yes.
You see now
Yes.
there is a division. Okay, those who did and those who did not. So I'm going to check, and I'm going to have their own marks for the assignments. Okay, those who didn't do the assignment lose what? 4 marks.
Okay, Doctor.
So
Yes.
this
Okay, Doctor.
I want just to emphasize. Do not tell me, shall I send it just now? No, it's over. You know, I specified or a good time for doing the assignment. You see now, if you
Yes.
remember this assignment, 3 weeks ago or more.
Yes.
Yes,
Correct. It's a true.
I gave a good time just to finish with the assignment. So do not tell me that, shall I send it? No, because the assignment should be in time. So it is not
Yes,
open. It is not open. And by the way, if there is a student who is not doing the assignment, a third assignment, how can he do the oral exam?
Yes,
Yes.
This is yeah. So this is something confusing. So why not just to do it in time? Because you should be ready for let me say for the oral exam, because this is a
Yes.
definite mark. You see
Yes.
now. So once I'm going to inform you about the averages, students should consider all these points. So do not tell me why I have this mark, so some students are relying on only the mark of the monthly exam and saying, well, we are doing good mark and that's it. No, when we want just to give the mark, we have all these activities to be considered. Do not tell me that, well, I'm good in the monthly exam. And by the way, you know, what are the reasons behind high marks of the monthly exam? But this is not final. as I
Yes.
said earlier. Got the point now? So these
Yes.
things
Yes,
should
doctor.
be considered. And what I want you just now to open your book to finish with the last two chapters that are to be included in the final examination.
Inshallah.
Starting with the chapter 9. Chapter 9. Well, with chapter 9, we have notes. It is entitled notes. What kind of notes, by the way? You have to consider that when you are going to have your paper, there is something just to be considered notes. That is to notify something for your readers. So let us consider what are the types of notes in order just to consider the meaning of notes here. So at the bottom of the first page, we have types of notes. Have you seen it?
Yes, doctor, we have.
Yes,
Yes.
doctor. We've seen it. Yes, doctor.
Yeah, the type of note you will be concerned with most is the documentation note. What do you mean by this? Which tells the reader the source of a quotation, summary, or paraphrase. And this is very important. This is the note that you normally use in your paper. That is what? To cite the source that you took the information from. The other point now, and that's why we call it documentation. That is what? To tell the reader from which source that you took your information. So this is number one. Documentation notes serve two purposes. They support your work by showing the authorities you based your reasoning on, and they indicate to your readers where to go to check your research or to read further for themselves. Most of this, okay. Here, when we talk about documentation notes, I believe that it is clear why to have it, and this is what is required when you are going to do your research next year. The other point now. So this is very
Yes.
important. Yeah. But notes can be used for other purposes too. The second type is the support note. So we have documentation note number one and support note. With it, you refer to sources that agree or disagree with what you are asserting. Support notes often are combined with documentation notes. By the way, when we are, viewing these types, it doesn't mean that they are necessarily to be found all in your research paper. It depends. So what I'm going to say that the most important, type that should be found is only documentation notes. Okay, other things are not to be obligatory. And again, it depends on your own research. And here in our researches, when we are doing these things in our department, we are not emphasizing the second type, because you see now, it will be included within the first one. Here we have a distinction. It's okay. But practically, when we are saying something about our researchers in our department, they are what? They are to be, within the documentation. Any questions so far?
No, doctor, it's clear.
Everything is clear. No, doctor.
The third type of note is explanatory note. Explanatory notes provide comments, translations, interpretations, or side arguments to explain what's in the body of the paper. So here, again, if you are, checking the title of each, or let me say, the scientific name of the notes, you will discover what is the purpose of each type. We say documentation. I believe that it will be clear from the name itself. Support and explanatory. Explanatory notes can be useful, but they also distract. Beware of carrying on lengthy side arguments in your notes. Often, those arguments should be either incorporated into the text or the paper or discarded altogether. Now, we move to placing your notes. Okay, I have notes. Where shall I put it? Where shall I put it in my paper? Here, placing the note reference, we have two positions. Here we are concerned with the placement of notes themselves. One system, they go at the bottom of the appropriate page. This is called what? Footnotes. So if they are put in at bottom of appropriate page, I mean, for each page that you have, let me say note, you put it at the bottom. So they are not going to be combined all together. So here they will be divided, or they will be let me say they are going to be distributed. You know the word distributed.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
السلام عليكم.
اهلا دكتور. اهلا دكتور اسامه. اهلا دكتور.
انا اعتذر جدا دخول المحاضره.
العفو تفضل دكتور.
الله يبارك فيكم ان شاء الله دكتور.
العفو.
اي مرحله دكتور حاليا؟
المرحله الثالثه في قسم اللغه الانجليزيه.
موفقين ان شاء الله.
يا اهلا وسهلا
دكتور. الطلاب حاليا منضمين كم طالب؟ 61؟
ال 61 باللينك الاول اللي هو هذا. نعم. وعندي نعم. ايضا لينك اخر.
نعم.
هذا الموجود ايضا عندي طلاب اخرين منضمين.
جيد ان شاء الله.
يعني
دكتور عندك حالات نعم. غياب متكرره؟
نعم، وهذا مسجلهن ايضا عندي استماره الكترونيه دكتور. هذه
نعم.
استماره الكترونيه.
نعم دكتور، ارسال نسخه من عندها الى القسم لاتخاذ الاجراءات للطلبه المتغيبين.
ان شاء الله دكتور، ان شاء الله.
من فضلك دكتور اريد اسمع الطلاب اذا كان ممثل يتحدث معي.
اي ممثل الشعب موجود.
نعم.
مصطفى موجود. مصطفى
نعم تفضل.
اي شخص مو مشكله.
يلا ماشي دكتور تفضل. شهد اي طالب
نعم.
ممكن تتحدث وياه.
شهد عندكم مشكله في مجال التعليم الالكتروني؟
والله حقيقة دكتور الموضوع التعليم الإلكتروني هو احنا تعلمنا عليه لأنه مثل ما ذكرت في السنة الثالثة. هناك مشاكل بالإنترنت أو بعض المشاكل تصير، لكن إنه الطالب هو أصبح يعني يرتب وضعه فيما يخص الاشتراك.
هاي قضية تعرفين، هاي قضية تقنية يعني ما متعلقة بقسم أو عمادة، هاي مسألة عامة. احنا اتحدث أنا عن المعوقات العلمية، يعني سواء كان بموعد محاضرة، طريقة أداء امتحان، مادة علمية، نركز على الجوانب الخاصة بتخصصنا.
حقيقة كل الدكاترة نهائي يعني لا مقصرين أو متأخرين أو حتى في وقت الامتحان. يعني احنا العام الصراحة كنا نعاني انه يعطونا وقت امتحان جدا قصير، يعني ما نلاحظ انه الأجوبة تروح علينا، مثلا الإجابة ما توصل.
طريقة استحفاظ المادة واضحة من قبل الأساتذة لكم؟
والله الشرف دكتور أحمد يكفي ويوفي، جدا جدا واضح والله العظيم، يعني بعيدا انه موجود او
ممتاز. اي مشكلة طلابنا الأعزاء، باب العمادة والقسم مفتوح لكل الطلاب. اي مشكله علميه
شكرا جزيلا
تحتاجون، احنا بابنا مفتوحه لكم طلابنا الاعزاء.
شكرا جزيلا.
هذا اهلا بك دكتور.
ممنونين. شكرا جزيلا.
واعتذر جدا عن المداخله.
لا العفو دكتور. العفو.
شكرا جزيلا.
شكرا جزيلا.
Okay, students. We resume our discussion for replacement of the notes. We said the first system is just what? To put it or distributed in each page that you have notes. So it will be on the bottom of the appropriate page. And I believe next, page 133 is clear for you, just to have a look at the example that is found here in the book. So, is there any question about these things?
No, doctor.
Okay.
No, doctor.
And here we have some instructions how to put it. The direction, things that you are going to arrange it. Regarding the size and something like that. So they are not just to have a look at it. It doesn't mean that you are going to do it literally. Now,
yes, doctor. Yes.
We are going to move to the second side, or not the side, maybe let me say the placement, the second placement. We said the first is called footnotes. So the second placement, easier to type, however, is notes section, a page or more at the end of your paper, after the text, but before the bibliography. You see now? So here the second placement will be what? Will be combining all notes that you are having, okay, and putting them in 2 or 3 papers at the end of your paper. You see now? So here, what does it mean? It means that it will be just like a section for notes. This will call end notes. You know the word, end notes. So we have footnotes.
Yes.
Okay, and we have end notes. When you say end note, it means that we are going to specify a section for the notes of the paper totally, and they will be put all together.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Technically, the notes section contains end notes rather than footnotes. However, the contents of both are the same. Only the layout on the page changes. Okay. Here, you may ask me about, let me say, the difference between endnotes and bibliography. Here, once we are going to finish with this chapter, we are going to have some sort of comparison in order just to know what are the differences. Now, moving to page 134, you have this paragraph, which is very important. We have a question. Should you use footnotes or endnotes? We recommend endnotes because they make the paper easier to prepare. Besides, most research papers have only documentation notes. If you introduce research material well in the text of the paper, readers usually do not want to read the documentation notes at the same time. The footnotes at the bottom of the page just get in the way. On the other hand, support and explanatory notes do more good if readers can see them while they read the paper. That argues for footnotes at the bottom of the page. Furthermore, if a document is placed on microfilm, you remember when you say microfilm, endnotes at the back of the document become more cumbersome. Okay. So with this, you know, here the preferences, again, it's something related to the researcher, okay? So we have some sort of recommendation, but sometimes here we need just to consider what type of arrangement that we do according to the, the title that we have and the requirements of the things that we are going to do. So the aim of the researcher normally is just to make things clear to the reader. So you are going to follow the way that makes your paper clear. So we are not going to have the word should here. We have recommendation. So if it works with your research paper, it will be okay. But if it is not, and you prefer something else, so it's up to you. Clear?
We can say it is optional, Doctor?
So it is not just to say optional. We
Yes.
say that it depends. What does it mean? Here in the book, we have a recommendation. We say that
Yes.
we prefer something rather than something else. But this is not a rule, as I said. This is not a rule.
Not obligatory.
Because here,
Yes.
your aim as a researcher is just to make things clear to the reader. So you follow this way or that way. This will this will be related to you, because you need just to represent these notes in a way that the reader will understand.
Yes, Doctor.
Will it be possible to make it as end notes and the reader will read it all together? Okay, or
Okay.
we put it or distributed, throughout the paper in order just to have the notes singly, singly with each.
Yes, yes.
page
Yes,
that we have notes,
separately.
we have it at the bottom. It will be footnotes. So this will be related again to you as a researcher, which way that you feel that it will be clear for the reader. Get the point now? So we are not going to say it
Yes,
is optional.
Doctor.
We are saying that it is a matter of preferences. You know the word preferences.
Yeah.
Yes,
What you are
Doctor.
going to prepare to achieve your aim, to make your reader understand the notes that you have.
Doctor, so they tell us or recommending to us that if you want to use this kind of note, you are free. But
Yeah.
tells
But
us
you see now,
recommended to us
I want just to emphasize the word recommend. What does it mean, recommend? We say that it is better. It is better normally, okay? But again, we are talking about the arrangement, yes, but do not forget the content. You know the word, the content that you have. So if the content forces you just to, put it as footnotes rather than endnotes, so it will be okay, because here it is not the placement and that's it. It is the way that we are going to make our reader understand.
that is very
Yeah.
clear, Doctor.
Yeah. Now we have what documentation notes contain. Here, when we say documentation, what does it mean? When we want just to cite for, the information that we have, to say what is the reference that we use for this information. So what I want you just to consider, just to go in the mid of the page, and we are going to consider what do we have here. If you are considering the system that we follow in our researches in our department, we are having between two brackets, okay, between two brackets, the last name of the author, the date of publishing, and the pages. Is that clear for you or not? Just tell me.
Yes, Doctor.
What do we include? What is the let me say the content of the note, the commentary? How can you cite for your research? You are going to mention the last name of the author. For example, you have a quirk, quirk for
Yes,
grammar,
Yes,
okay?
yes,
You
Yes.
write a quirk and then comma. Then you write the date of publishing, and then you write the page, from which page. So the name of, let me say, of the author doesn't, indicate that from which page that you took your information. So you are going to have the page. Here we have two ways to refer to the page, either just to write the letter P, then dot, and then you write the number of the page. Or 2, write column, column. 2,
Yes.
yeah. So you are going to follow each, either of these 2 ways to refer to the page. And then you are going to enclose or close the brackets, only these things. Suppose that you are having the information from different resources. They are going to be written, all together. What does it mean? It means that you have one bracket for the first resource, and then you close it, and then you open another bracket, and you are going to write the same thing, the last name of the author, the date of publishing, and the page. And then if they are 3 resources or 4 resources, okay. So in this case, you are going to have these things for references that are related to books. But suppose that you are having something from the internet, because this is, you see now, if you consider that the book is published, the textbook that we have doesn't include things that we are going to cite from the internet. From the internet, you are going to have what? The link for the page.
Yes, yes.
The link for the page. Okay. So here, this is what we are following in our researches in our department. Only these things. Only these things. So what differs here? Yeah, tell me.
Sometimes about the source that we have several people or persons. Sometimes I see that they mention the names divided by a comma, and then they say and more. So what is the difference? Within the same brackets.
This is what I want just to say about let me say the bibliography. You see, when we are talking about notes or documentary notes, what we call citation, this will be related to the author. When you say that one author, 2 authors, you see now,
yes,
more than one, you see, yes, this is the thing that we are using, that is and more. But you see now, mentioning all the information related to the resources will be related to the bibliography rather than to the documentary notes. So here, the 3 things that we want just to emphasize, rather than whether we have one author or 2 or more than 2, we are emphasizing that we have the author, the date of publishing, and
the page. Yes.
Suppose that you have the same information, different information that you are having from the same source, the same author, and the same page. And this is very important. And this is repeated, according or throughout the, let me say, the paper that you have. For example, on page number 1, then page number 2, and then page number 3. If they are coming one after the other, the same information, not the same information, but the same source, the same author, the same date of publishing, and the same page, you are going to use the word IBID, I-B-I-D, I-B-I-D. This is to put it between 2 brackets. IBID, what does it mean? The same source, the same author, the same date of publishing, and the same page. Clear or not, Justin?
Yes, doctor, we hear you.
Okay.
Yes,
so here, what we need just to emphasize here, we need just to know what kind of information that we put in documentation notes. And by the way, this is what is required from you And the other things, the details that we have, we are not going to say that they are not important. I mean, what is found here in your book. But we are not going to emphasize it, I mean, in our course, or they are not to be required in the final examination. And that's why I want you just to consider that from page, I mean, 136 till the end of the chapter will not be required in the final examination. So we are going to include only these things that we consider. Okay, so but I want you just to have only what documentation notes contain, as we explained just now. Okay, and the other things will be left all together. I know they have some important information, and this will be left for you just to consider, but they are not to be required in the final examination, because you see, I want just to limit the material, you know, because we cover so far 9 chapters, and then we are going to include the 10 chapters today. So here I want just to say that what is left, it is not just to be not important, it will be left for you just to consider if you want just to have an idea about writing a research, but they are not going to be included in the final examination. Now, moving to chapter 10. Chapter 10. Bibliography. You know, when we talk about this, we are talking about the references that we are going to have in our paper all together. And you know, we have a variety of references, books, okay? We have articles, we have magazines, we have things that are to be taken from the internet. So all these things will be included in the bibliography. So the bibliography provides readers with a convenient listing of the works you use to prepare your paper. Obviously, much of the information is the same. However, a source that may appear in the notes several times will be in the bibliography only once. You see now, here the repetition of mentioning the source in the notes will not be the same in the bibliography. It will be mentioned once, and this is very important. This is one of the differences, okay? And works appear in the notes in the order in which you refer to them, while works in the bibliography are in the alphabetical order. So in the notes we have numbers, and here we don't have. Other differences have to do with the changes in the formulas for the entries. Okay. Let us consider again the differences that are found on page 159. The note has a number. Bibliography entry does not. Notes are in the order of appearance in the paper, but the bibliography is arranged alphabetically. The first line of the note is indented 5 spaces for the left. This is, I mean, the arrangement, and this is will not be considered. By the way, when we are talking about differences, we need just to see not only, let me say, the arrangement, but what we need is just to consider what is essential to be mentioned. That is the first point, which is very important when we talk about the number, okay? And things that are related, I mean, to the full documentation of the bibliography. So what we need just to consider the things that we are going to have in the bibliography. What are the information that we are going to include in the bibliography? Here, the arrangement will be this way. the name of the author will be written, I mean, differently. What does it mean? We start with the last name. Then we have comma. Then we have the completion of the first and second if it is found. And if we have full name, we have the last name will be written in full. Then we have comma. Then we have the first name, and the second name will be abbreviated only with the first letter. You got the point
Doctor,
now?
could you repeat the last one?
I'm going to repeat it once
Full
again.
name.
Here we want just to talk about the information that we are going to put in the bibliography. How can we cite for, let me say, the reference? We start with what? With the name of the author. How can we write it? We start with the last name. Okay? Not the first. When we are going to read, for example, in the reference, the full name of the author, we start with the last. Then we put comma. Then if we have the first name only, we write the first name after the comma. Okay? But if we have the first and the second, we have the first name, the second will be only the first letter. I mean, it will be abbreviated, just like abbreviation. Is that okay?
It is very clear, Doctor. Thank you.
Yes,
Oh,
Doctor.
then, once we finish, this is when we talk about the, I mean, when the author is what? When the author is one person. But if we have two authors, the first one will be shifted. By the way, what does it mean shifted? We put the last name at the beginning, okay, and then we put the first name, okay. But the second author will be written as it is. I mean the name. So if we have two authors, the first one will be shifted. The second one will be written as it is. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. If we have more than, for example, a group, okay, we mention the first one and then we write etal, the word etal, E-T-A-L. What does it mean? It means that it is a group of authors. We mention one, and then we mention the word etal, E-T-A-L. E-T-A-L. Is that okay? So we have three types. The first, the first one when we have one author. The second when we have two authors. Okay. The third one when we have what? A group. So this is when we finish with what? With the name of the author. What is the second thing that we have in the bibliography? We have the date, or we have the date of publishing. The date of publishing.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, then we have the title of the reference. Here, either to be underlined or to be written in italics. Either ways you can follow. Either, but do not let me say do it both. Either just to underline the title,
yes,
or to put it in what? In italics.
Italics.
Okay. Then what do we have? We have the publisher, you know the word publisher,
Yes.
Yes, doctor.
and
Yes,
the place of publication. The publisher, for example, what is the, for example, when I say Oxford University Press,
Yes.
what is it?
This is the
Publisher.
place of your.
This is not the place. This is the publisher.
The publisher.
Publisher.
And then when I say University, Oxford University Press, this is the name of the publisher. I mean, what is the institution, okay, or the office? You know, the office that is
Yes.
responsible for doing the publication of this reference, and then the name of the place. When I say Oxford,
Oxford
the
City
city.
مثلا.
okay, the city. The other point now, that is what is to be mentioned in the bibliography. You see now, if you
Yes.
have a distinction between the two, the note or citation note, what do we have? Only the name of the author, the date of publishing, and the page. While in bibliography, we don't have
Yes.
pages, by the way. We don't have pages. We don't have pages. Here, we have full documentation, that is the full name of the author. Full name of the author. While in the note, what do we have? Only the last
The
name.
last name.
Last name
Yes.
on.
And the date of publishing, it is shared between the two, but the title of the reference is not mentioned in the note, but it is mentioned in the bibliography.
Yes.
The publication data, again, it is not mentioned in the note, but it is mentioned in the bibliography. So here, if you want just to find the differences, there are differences in the contents. Okay, in the content, there is something shared, but they are different. Here in the notes, the reference or the citation of the reference will be repeated, while in the bibliography it is mentioned once only. And by the way, when you are going to arrange the references, the references will be arranged alphabetically. You are not going to number them. What does it mean?
Yes.
Start with A and with Z. Got it? But here, when we
Yes.
are going to arrange them alphabetically according to the last name, and this is very important, the last name, not the first name, the last name of the author, because we are arranging the bibliography according to the what? To the last name.
Doctor, is this a constant arrangement?
Yeah.
Or we have other, like arranging it according to the appearance?
Sorry?
Yes.
Sorry?
Maybe we have other arrangement, like arranging the sources in the bibliography according to their appearance
This
in
is
the
what is
paper.
normally followed. Maybe
Yes.
you are going to have or check different ways. And by the way, you know, sometimes you are going to have bibliography for books, bibliography for magazines. You see now, but what we are discussing now, bibliography for what? For the research paper.
Yes.
So you may find something which is, I'm not going to say totally different, but there are some differences here and there, but you have to follow. You have to follow these things when you are going to write your own research paper next year. This is what is normally, done in our researches in our department, and that's why I'm
Yes.
saying that these things will be considered both next year, and the things that we mentioned will be required in the final examination when we talk about the differences or even the arrangements themselves. Suppose that in the exam I'm going to have some mistakes in the let me say in the arrangement, and say that there is something wrong with the citation of the bibliography here. and then I'm going to have possible, let me say, options, okay? And then you are going to discover these things when you are going to follow these instructions that I give. Is that okay? So what
Yes,
I'm
doctor.
saying now will be required in the final examination according to the way that we arrange, okay? And for the coming year, you are going to follow these things, and if there are things that are related to your, so by the way, when we are talking about writing a research, not all researchers are having the same resources altogether. What does it mean? Some resources they need, for example, encyclopedia. Some resources are of translation or things like that. But here it is to be related to the supervisor to tell you the way that you are going to arrange your own references. Okay, so again, there is some sort of specification in which you are going to arrange references according to the resources that you are using really. But normally we are following these things, okay? So what we need just to consider, what is the contents of the bibliography, how is it to be arranged, and which is coming first, and then, and what is required also just to know the differences between bibliography and notes.
Okay, Doctor.
Any question about these things?
Doctor,
Yeah.
this bibliography taking, it's something obligatory. We should use
yeah,
it.
yeah. You have to know. Having bibliography is something necessary. Without bibliography, you don't have any evidences that you are using references. Okay, and for the reader, how can the reader check that this information is taken from which resource? So the reader may have something more to consider. So you may have some hints or some, let me say, information, but if the reader needs just to know more elaboration, he will go the reference that you have in your bibliography. How can he check? So this will be related to two things. First of all, to the scientific way of writing a research paper. This is one. And for the reader, because you are writing something to be read. And you have to consider that readers will need the following evidences that you have for your own information, and more elaboration if the information that is mentioned is not enough. Just need more elaboration for that. So he will go to the reference, and from the bibliography, he will discover which reference that you use for your information.
Doctor, please, you talk about the references that we get from the website in general. And
yes, I'm coming to this point. When we talk about here references that are taken from the internet, and this is what is nowadays done with the references that are not taken from the books.
I have
here again. We are having the links. We are having the links only. So what does it mean? We are going to have a copy for the link totally, and they are going to be separated. What does it mean? Once you finish with the references, paper references, you specify a section. You are going to write internet sites. And then they are going to be, of course, we are not going to have alphabetic here arrangement.
Because
They are
I
going
think
to be arranged according to the what to the
Using
use
them in
itself.
the
From which chapter that you are using, they are going to be arranged according to the use. Okay. For example, you start with the sides that you have in section or in chapter 1, and then go to chapter 2, and so on. So what does it mean here? The internal sites will not follow the alphabetic arrangement, but it is to be arranged according to the use in the paper itself.
Doctor, sometimes just we find the name of maybe the writer of this, the dates.
But tell me, is it
by them?
No, you have to know the following.
Yeah.
If you are having the full documentation from the net, okay, so it will be okay. It will be considered as paper reference. Here, paper reference, it doesn't mean that it is, taken from the library and that's it. You may have the reference from the internet, but you have full documentation. Suppose that you have the book in full as a PDF form, okay? So you have full documentation of these things. You have the name of the author, you have the title of the book, you have the pages, all these things. But I'm talking about the information that they are taken from the internet without these full documentation. If they are not referring to all these things, suppose that you have an article, suppose that you have only information, but from which reference that you don't know. Or suppose that you have an article, but at the end of the article there are references, but they are references for the article, not references for you. And that's why you are going to have the site or the link for the article. Because you are not personally having these references.
Thank you. It is very clear. Thank you very much.
Is there any question?
Yes, doctor. May I ask?
Yeah. Tell me, please.
It concerns one of the small details about punctuation in the first part of the bibliography concerning the names of the author. When we have, for example, two authors, we said that the first author we mentioned
will be
his name.
Shifted. Yeah, shifted. You start with the
first one.
Yeah.
Last name, comma, first name, comma, and then abbreviated second name. The second author, we said that we write his name as it is, without the previous mentioned arrangement. So how do we separate between the two?
You separate between the two.
By comma or semicolon?
No. Sometimes you write and.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is clear enough. Thank you very much. I asked in case I need it in the future.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
By the way, I'm saying now that the textbook that you have contains some useful information that you can use next year. Yes. Okay, but I'm not going to take them in detail. You know why? Because students will be confused. Are they, let me say, required in the final examination or not? How can we have it in the final examination? So this will be left for you, because you see now you can read the book and you can have useful information from. This is one. Second, again, it depends. What does it mean? If next year you need something which is not to be emphasized this year, you come back to the book and you can know, because you see now the book is very clear to you and it's just like a catalog. So if it is not to be emphasized this year, it means that you may use it next year. You may use it. What does it mean here? If your research needs that. So if it is this way, so we are not going to emphasize everything. We are going to stop at this point. And with this, we cover 10 chapters, ending with bibliography, with the things that we mentioned only, okay?
Yes.
And with this, I wouldn't like students to say 10 chapters are too much. We are not, you see now, when we cover the book, the textbook, we didn't tackle everything. you remember, we leave so many things. So if you consider the material, it is not that too much. You say that it is of 10 chapters, but they are not that too much. Consider what we have only, and you are going to be okay for the final examination. I mean,
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you.
So consider that we left so many things. So 10 chapters are not just to be considered as too much.
Yes.
But we are behind the sequence of writing a research, and that's why we start with the way that we are going to choose the title till we have the bibliography. It's just like a story, you know. We have to have the story from the beginning till the end. We cannot cut the story into bits and say that, you see now. And within the lectures that we have, we decided what is important and what is not. And in this case, you are going to have, let me say, the information that is required in final examination, sequenced and comprehensive. You know the word comprehensive.
Yes, that's
Yes, doctor.
Tells everything from the beginning till the end. So is that okay? So with this, we finalize the book. Okay, 10 chapters from chapter 1 to chapter 10. So for those who are not attending our lecture today, they should be notified that what is required in the final examination, 10 chapters.
Yes, doctor.
Okay.
Now, we're thankful for you to make it more obvious and clear for us.
Well, this is my job, and I am happy just to listen to you if you have any question or any, let me say, comments for things that we tackle. Now, I believe that we are going to have 1 hour for volunteer participation, as we are considering. Okay, so we are going to have, let me say, those who raise their hands, okay, in this, let me say, hour, starting with the Hawra Jum'ah. Hawra Jum'ah.
Yes.
Doctor, we are exam. Should leave or stay in the...
Well, you know that this will be related to the students. If the students need just to have an idea about the topics,
yes,
they are welcome just to be with us. If they need just to leave, it's up to them. Those who examined last lecture, they are free to be till 10:30 or to leave just now. This is one. Second, what I need just to know that students, if they are not going to participate this lecture, we have, as I said, additional lectures starting from today in the evening at 3 p.m. and then we have Friday and Saturday. Okay, these 3 days. Okay, and they should look at the announcement on the Google Meet just to know their their time, because I'm going to have a list of names after the lecture. Okay. And if students are participating now, they are going to be deleted from the groups, okay? Because they participated already. Okay. Hawra Jum'ah.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. taking notes.
I mean in research writing.
You see now, since we have only 1 hour, what I need you, Hawra, and all other students who are going to participate, I need just to be brief, to tell me, okay, what is your title and what is your aim, and if you have a practical part. That's it.
First of all, I think we have a practical part in taking notes because it's
No,
actual use.
Tell me about the title. It's
The title, yes. The title is taking notes in research writing. The aim of writing this title is to clarify the importance of taking notes when writing the research, especially at this time because we are approaching the 4th stage, which requires controlling all steps of writing the research. And considering this tool is very important and helps students a lot while explaining why we use the taking notes.
okay. Very good. You see, Hawra, your title needs just to have keywords. Taking notes in what? I know that you explained this, but when you are having your title, these keywords should be mentioned. Taking notes in writing a research paper. This will be very clear, very clear for the reader. You see now. So taking notes here will be vague, unclear, and that's why I'm asking you about your title. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay, and what you mentioned is clear. Your aim of study is what?
So,
Your aim of study.
Before that, in the last lecture, I asked you if I can edit. So
Anyway, but you see, you have to think of this from the beginning, because you see, we already I mean, having something which is related to choosing and limiting the title, if you remember, from the beginning.
Yes.
So we tackle this, and that's why it is not just to say that shall we modify it next time, or I believe that it will be clear for all students that how can they I mean, arrange for their own title. Thanks a lot, Hawra. We have Zahra Abdel Hussein.
Yes, doctor.
Zahra.
دكتور صباح الخير.
Yes.
بس أنا حوراء. يعني
Sorry.
اسمي أنا قبل حوراء جمعة. جوهر رياض.
Well, I'm having this list. If you remember, I'm not here. By the way, I'm saying that this lecture is for volunteer students. Okay, so I'm not following the alphabetic arrangement now, but for the additional lectures, I'm going to follow that with the list. Here I have a list. Here I have a list of what? I have a list of the those who are having the I mean their own participation according to raising hands. You see now we have Hawra Jum'a, Zahra Abdel Hussein, Rafal Ahmed, Ula Aziz, Shahad Ahmed. So I'm following volunteer participation. Then in the additional lectures, I'm going to have lists according to the alphabetic arrangement. Got the point now? So if you have a chance just to participate now, it's okay. But if it is not, wait for the additional lectures. So Zahra Abdel Hussein.
Yes, doctor, with you.
Okay. Language and communication.
Yes,
Tell me, Zahra.
Yes, doctor. A language is a system of communication.
No, Zahra. I wouldn't like you just to explain. I need you just to say what is your aim, and if you have a practical part. You see. Yeah.
Yes,
What is
doctor.
your aim?
Yes, doctor. The aim from this title to express our feeling or to give our opinion. Let for people say something or to take new information or exchange our information between each other or give a promise for people. This is aim from this title. Practical part, yes, we have in this title when I make conversation with my friend or with my family.
Okay. You feel that there is a practical part for your research title? Is there a practical part, or you feel that this is what is descriptive?
Doctor, in the research,
Yeah, this title does it have a practical part or not?
no, doctor, description.
So it is a descriptive title in which you are going to identify what? To identify what? What you are going to identify in this description.
Doctor,
Zahra?
I don't have, yes, doctor, I don't have practical part in research from this
I know,
title.
I know, I know, I
Uh,
know.
yes,
Instead, what you are going to do? Is it
to
to
description.
compare? Is it just to emphasize something? What to
Yes,
emphasize?
to express, or to description something or to explain something.
No, here you are going to emphasize the idea that language is a means of communication, and how is it different from other means of communication. This is the way that you are going to explain for your title. Is that okay? Is that
Okay.
okay? Okay.
Okay.
Rafael Ahmed.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah.
والله بالعكس أتفق.
Rafael?
Yes, doctor.
Rafael?
I'm available.
Okay. I'm sorry, because you see now there is, yeah,
Yes, doctor.
misconnection of the internet. Okay.
It's all right.
It's all right, doctor. It's normal.
English language use and usage in communication.
Yes.
I don't know whether you can find it on screen.
No, there's nothing.
No, doctor.
No.
No,
Not
doctor.
presented.
Can you see it just now?
Yes,
Yes.
doctor.
Yes, doctor. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, so English language use and usage in communication. So I chose
Use
this.
and usage
Yeah.
in communication.
So I chose this topic because it's important for communication purposes. It allows people to communicate because knowing a language should include knowledge of both correct usage and appropriate use. It also has it's practical because students can be examined about syntactic structures, words and words components, and also meaning of words. Did you hear me, doctor?
It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm done.
Yeah. You have some sort of description here and comparison. Okay, that is the difference between language use and language usage. Is that okay?
Yes, doctor.
Okay, so with this, you have only a descriptive study in the way that you are going to show what kind of differences among these two types, and then you are going to see which is which part and which school is arguing with the other regarding these two scientific topics when we talk about language use and language usage.
Okay.
So with this case, do you have a practical part?
I believe there's a practical part because the students can be examined about like syntactic structures, words and words components, and also meaning of words.
Well, with this case, we are going to say that the practical part depends on the sample that you are going to do. Here, if you are saying that, for example, certain learners, learners' achievement in language use and language usage, this will make some sort of practical part. That is what you are going to check their own performance in the two ways.
Okay.
depends on what you are going to do as a researcher. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Ola Aziz. Thanks, Rafat. Ola Aziz.
Yes, doctor, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Through the use of visual aids.
Yes. Shall I start?
Yes. Can you tell me about
Yes,
it? Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
of course.
yeah. Tell me, please.
Actually, I have 3 aims I want to achieve. I'll try to be a bit quick so as not to take much time. First of all, I want to show and stress the importance of vocabulary, as it is a main or fundamental part of any language, including the English one. I want to show that no matter how much knowledge of grammar learners obtain and have, without knowledge of vocabulary, there is no use, no benefit, because learners will not be able to use English to communicate and express themselves. So, based on such a great importance of vocabulary learning, English teachers must use effective methods to teach English vocabulary. Secondly, I want to show and to prove the effectiveness of using visual aids in teaching vocabulary. Visual aids and techniques have many advantages. They achieve a very successful teaching and they provide more beneficial learning experience for learners, experience that is interesting, enjoyable, and active. Also, I want to show how these techniques make learners perceive the given material through using their 5 senses, or as it is called, sensory perception, and also through visualization. So visual aids like flashcards, Realia, and other techniques that are less or rarely used, like PowerPoint presentations or videos. These techniques are more beneficial, they are more effective than the traditional method of just reciting the material and teaching vocabulary as mere lists of words to be memorized only. The last aim is, actually it is an ambitious aim I seek to achieve. That is to reach an official adaptation or application of these visual techniques, especially the new techniques I experimentally apply in the practical side that I am going to talk about later. I want to prove their success and effectiveness in teaching English vocabulary. I recommend these techniques and I seek or invite English teachers to apply the techniques in their vocabulary teaching. I also invite those who work in the educational system to provide the teachers with the requirements that are necessary for such visual and technological techniques, such as providing the devices and tools for using them. Shall I explain the practical side?
No, it's very clear. Thanks a lot for your own participation, and I apologize for I apologize.
Yes, doctor, I can't hear you.
Let me say a misconnection. Yeah, you hear me now, Ola?
Yes, I can hear you now, doctor.
Yeah. So
yes, doctor,
I'm going to, I apologize for the rest of the students because there is a technical problem with me.
Yes, doctor,
and
yes.
Your voice is cutting.
It keeps cutting.
Next time, once I'm going to finish with with the lecture, I'm going to have a list, and it will be appropriate for them to participate next time. And I promise I'm not going to leave any students without participation. So thanks a lot, you all. And just
Doctor, please.
for all other students to check their names in the announcement of Google Classroom. Thanks a lot.
Doctor, may I have just a minute to explain the practical side, please?
Only for the students who examine. The additional lectures are not obligatory for all students. Only those who are going to be mentioned, their names will be mentioned in the announcement. They should attend. And once they finish, they can leave. That's it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, Doctor.
Thanks a lot for you all.
Thank
you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.